All right, so with our beautiful Miss Phoebe, wild lady, here she comes. Ready, cuteness? So like usual, we're gonna warm up with a couple little find its with orientation back to you. So again, when she goes and finds all her little tidbits, yes. I want her to start thinking there's a lot of great value in moving into your space. I know that at one point you had mentioned, which again, we're gonna dive into some more, but where at one point she had tripped you and then she had gotten away from you. And of course, it's very scary if you're worried about recall practice, especially in harder environments where there's traffic and scary things. So I would start to practice some of these lovely moments where throughout the day you just randomly call her and then have a novel reinforcement maybe she's not as used to getting here and there. So every time I recall my dogs, I do feed them for it. Again, personal preference, but I do find, yes, that to build up that recalls are very beneficial. You have to feed them that paycheck for that really hard work. So because for most dogs, the environment is so much more stimulating. Phoebe, come. Yes, than we are. So if there's more value in ignoring us and then chasing the squirrel or finding the bunny poop in the yard, then that can be really detrimental. Yes. To your babe's ability to come back through distractions. So as you're generalizing your recall and building up value and coming to you, you'd want to make sure to practice in easy peasy places first and then build up. So Phoebe, come. Yes, nice job. So maybe for coming when called, she gets a much higher value item for coming to you than she does when you toss a different item away. So you might have certain items that are more towards the end of the lower end of the spectrum and others that are much more high value. So again, we can go ahead and do a lower end snack, get her to go do a find it. And then from there, she almost flipped over her snack as she went to grab it. Phoebe, come. Yes. You may also want to get in the habit of jackpotting her so she gets several little tidbits for that recall. This can also help her stay near. The other option is you do want to practice maybe a gotcha behavior. So a got you skill or behavior is where you practice reaching for your babe's equipment and feed them for the reach. A lot of puppies sometimes get into this habit by accident with us. We call them over and we grab them and we end the game, or we leash them up, or we leave the environment. So for a lot of dogs, when you go to reach for them, they try to run away or they get overwhelmed. Excuse me. So I would recommend that you might sometimes be practicing recalls on their own. Other times you work a gotcha without even pairing it with a recall. So I wouldn't by accident confuse her or get her overwhelmed by pairing a gotcha with coming when called, because in the beginning, if recalls are hard on their own and now you apply something she might view as a little bit spooky or a little bit weird, I don't want her to start not coming to you because gotcha became a little bit weird for her. So with the got you behavior, you want to go ahead and I would in the beginning reach and then feed. And again, reach and then feed. So I'm not even going and actually touching her. And if you can't quite see her, I'll maybe try to get a little closer. Ready? So Miss Phoebes is over here. Good job checking in. So I'm just going to feed her for that. She's doing such a good job. So I'm going to, again, go to pretend to reach and then feed her for that. And then I might go, gotcha, and then yes. So me moving my hand doesn't equal keep away or frolicking or romping, because then if the reach happens in a safety situation, they might think, woohoo, and they start romping away from you, and then that can be really overwhelming for both. So again, I'm going to go, gotcha, and then yes. And again, she's like, hold up, you don't like that one as much? Gotcha. And then he's like, maybe I'll take the other one. Yes, nice job. Is this one too big? She's like, I don't know if I like that one. Okay, no worries. So let's say as we're practicing, then we would build into the gotcha might be a touch, like a caress on the shoulder. So again, I might go once more, gotcha, and then feed. And again, gotcha, and then feed. She's like, that was weird. So I don't want this to be scary. So remember that if your babe finds certain handlings to be a little overwhelming, I know you mentioned she does a great job at the groomer. The groomer's like, I don't believe you that she's a puppy. Remember that if, let's say, sometimes grooming or handling can be a little bit weird or feel uncomfortable, we make sure that a lot of handling happens that equals no uncomfortable feelings. So I know for us, we understand that when we're brushing our hair and we get snagged in a knot, it hurts. And we understand that it's not us on purpose trying to hurt us. But for dogs, as we're getting a caught and it hurts, it might be like the brush is the one causing the pain, or the hand or the person is the one causing the pain. So we want to be careful that when we're engaging with our dogs, a lot of the practice should be benign, where it's not instantly paired with the uncomfortable sensation potentially. So let's say, for example, again, I'm going to go gotcha, and then yes. Gotcha, and then yes. And again, gotcha. So then I might reach, touch gear, and then I'm going to feed her. She's like, that's weird. And it could be a little bit weird and tickly. Like, why is this wild lady going and reaching for my back? Why is she grabbing my equipment? So she's like, now she got an itch. So I wouldn't make this where you go from 0 to all of the steps. So if, let's say this is very new to her, you would want to practice again, gotcha, where you're reaching and you feed. Gotcha, and you feed. And then eventually she gets comfortable with this reach, and you'd want to practice grabbing gear, feeding. The other option too is, let's say when you're practicing and you're working, so I'm going to try a little bit again where I do, she's like, hold on, your boot smells, I know my boot is so delicious, is I'm going to get her attention. I'm going to do a little find it. While she's often distracted, let's say I call her to me, so hold on, that was a big chewy one. She's like, hold up, woman, I can't chew my fish skin and run at the same time. That's okay. Multitasking's hard. So let's say my gorgeous gal was doing this recall, and don't worry, she's just mid-chew, no big deal. So let's say I'm going to, again, send her away for another one in a moment. I'm just going to feed her for coming to my bubble anyway. I'm going to send her away and then go, Phoebe, come. And then what I could do is a lovely little find it and then get her comfortable with maybe a couple little touches. If this was too spooky, don't surprise her with attacking her from above. But I want her to be, again, so like, gotcha, and then she can go back to eating some more snacks. So the benefit of doing a big chunk of a find it on the floor is as your puppy comes to you, if they tend to dart away, this can be a really great way to keep her from, quickly grabbing your snack and then running off again. We don't want her to think it's like a drive-by or a drive-through where she's going through, grabbing the snack, and then moving on. So we don't want to create the drive-through setup. We want to create more when she comes into your space. You might even feed the floor, give a couple loveys if she likes the attention. Nice job. And have her take a few moments to pause there with you, feed a few reps, and then send her away again. So she can maybe go find those crumbs. Then we'll go again, Phoebe, come. Yes, and we could feed her directly. We could do, again, one little snack after another, little jackpot moment for this gorgeous gal, or you could do those find its. If you were going to slowly include the gotcha behavior, I wouldn't, again, go right into using it with the recall for starters. But as she gets more refined, being able to grab for gear she comes into you is a great thing to throw into her repertoire. So that way, when you go to grab her, it's not threatening or spooky or so novel. So I know earlier we were doing a few waits with Mr. Handsome off in the distance. We're going to tell her to wait. I'm going to take a little step if I can. Notice how me adding movement was really hard. She's thrown in her beautiful dance moves. We might try again, where I might get her to settle in her down. She's like, oh, itchy leg, itchy ear. I'm so sorry about coughing into the mic. Time for another cough drop for me. Not a dog's knock, but a cough drop. I know they look similar. So we might go and get her attention. If you're going to do a little wait and she's having a hard time with you adding distance, stay with the time frame first. And then I might go, Phoebe, come, and just bring her to the side of me if you're working a recall from a wait. Obviously, you saw the recalls here were recalls from the environment or recalls from a find it. There's a lot of really great ways to build in recall practice as being easy, comfortable, and attainable. So if, let's say, ready, let's say your babe could not handle a sit or a down or even a standing wait, and every time you told them to wait, they kept wiggling, that would be a moment where maybe you do a find it with then recall instead. So right here, she's a little distracted. I might go, Phoebe, come. Yes, what a good girl. And reinforce that. Gorgeous. But notice how quickly she goes and wanders away again. If you're finding that's difficult for her, you go ahead again and go, Phoebe. Oh, come. Yes. And let's say we thought she was going to leave. You could get a little, oh, she's like, not for this. You don't want the fish skin? She's like, maybe I do. Okay, good. Ready? But then you could get her here, and then you could work a couple little moments where you feed her for hanging out with you. Yes. Sometimes you could work a little bit of a look and get those eyes, even if she sits, downs, or stands. Yes. And then you could make it where kind of hanging out with you for a few reps. Ready? Look. Yes. Has value as opposed to instantly running off and finding something else that's really cool. So we might, again, find it. Nice. Phoebe, come. Oh, such a good girl. No. She's like, I forgot how to chew and run at the same time. That was a bit challenging. Good job with those fish skins. Those are quite crunchy. So again, we'll send her away with another little find it. And then I might go, Phoebe, come. Yes. But remember, she's doing splendid because there's not much going on for right now. Remember to generalize these gorgeous recalls or any behavior. You want to think about maybe mastering the skill to the level you'd like as advanced, for example. Like let's say your recalls happen every time. Good job, cuteness. You practice in the house. See if you can get that same sort of master feel on equipment and off if it's safe to do so, or drag long line, like I mentioned a little bit last time for her, is if you're getting gorgeous responses there, then start to increase the criteria when it comes to difficulty or distractions or maybe your durations. But if it's everything is so brand new and now you go to a new bubble, that might be so much novelty for her that there's no ability for her to understand the skill is still the same skill, but now in a new place. So generalization, even for us to start working skills and be able to apply them in the real world, nice job, takes a lot of practice and repetition and getting comfortable to be able to do the behavior and do it well with some mastering of the skill. So right here, I might go, Phoebe, come. Yes. What a good job, madam. So again, if recalls are going beautiful, maybe keep them short and sweet. So what I mean by that is don't do so many recalls that she wants to just give up because it's so much work. She just wants to be done. So maybe she can do a gorgeous 15 recalls. Maybe one day you ask for 3. Another day, maybe 5. Maybe some other time, maybe 10. But if it's always go, go, go until like we can't function anymore, we more than likely are not going to want her to practice again next time because she'll feel it's too much effort and maybe not enough fun. So again, ready? We'll do another little recall. Phoebe, come. So like right here, good little distraction going on. She's towards the other end of the room. There's some odor. So let's say I said her name, told her the C word to come on down and nothing happened. I know you won't maybe see me the whole way, but I'm going to go about half the distance. Go, Phoebe, come, and then bring her roughly, nice job, into the bubble I wanted to originally call her in. If I had to break it down into a couple little steps where I might feed her for the original coming to me from that bubble, halfway point, and then again a little bit as we get closer to where I first recalled her, that would be fine. So, but I'd make sure that you don't call over and over. So what I mean by that is if you are repeating yourself more than twice, I'd say gauge, have you shown your puppy how to work it in a soft bubble first? And typically I'd go, again, Phoebe, come. Yes. I try to preemptively try as they get more comfortable, do the cue word, so the slogan for the behavior. And then if there's a hand signal, pair that with it as well. So we might go, Phoebe, come, and then there might be a hand signal. So if let's say you have a distinct one, feel free to let me know. But if, for example, your pup doesn't always hear you, doing a visual can be helpful for creating come when called. So, and if let's say you're visibly out of range because she's in the woods or she's in tall grass or whatever it might be, then having the verbal is going to be really important for her to understand. So you want to do a little bit of both. So I would recommend in the beginning, if your baby has no idea what you're doing, I like to pair the two. So I might say come and then feed for that. And then eventually preemptively say the cue word, see if she responds, and then start to pair it with the cue first and then the visual. Because if, for example, it's only ever paired together, she may not realize that independently those are still the same behavior. So we do a little find it. She's like, where'd it go? And again, Phoebe, come. Yes. So sometimes it's just the verbal, so she gets that one. And then we'll try a little bit where we might combine the two. There she goes. She found it. And then again, Phoebe, come. Yes. And then we might go into just the visual and see if she figures it out. So we'll do another little find it. And then we might go, come. Oh, see, that was me going tired, and I did both again. We'll do that again. So you can see that obviously mistakes happen, and nobody is perfect, and that is completely fine. Remember, you're not looking for perfection. You're just looking for progress. So again, oh, she's mid-chew. Hold on. It's a big boy I gave her. She's like, lady, I can't chew and run. 1 second. Okay, she's almost done chewing. I know. Do. Nice. So again, we feed. So you guys may find that when practicing, try to gauge the criteria, try to gauge the environment. Is your pup well rested? Are they overtired? Are they having a growth spurt? Are they maybe losing puppy teeth? There's a lot of times where, as she's maturing, I don't believe she's been spayed yet, So as she's maturing, she's going through hormone changes as she's turning into a big girl for down the road. So you may find that she's on top of everything, doing beautiful, and then one day she almost like forgets the meaning of life, let alone her name, whatever. So those could be moments where maybe your babe, and the only way they can tell you is not feeling it by not performing. Always, if you do have a big behavior change or a big dramatic change in their capabilities, mentally or physically, I always like to rule out medical. So if there's change in your pup's behavior that is really dramatic or is feeling not themselves, definitely double check with your vet to make sure there's nothing skeletal or internal going on where it could be an ailment, and that tends to affect behavior very much so. So again, we might do one more. Phoebe, come. Nice. And I'll just go ahead and feed her for coming into my space. But we'll give her a little breather from these recalls, and we'll work a few more little skills in just a second. But she's doing such a great job in her second day of day school.